Good afternoon, Keller Williams. Josh Abbott here, your tech trainer with some tech tips for you today. We're going to be continuing on our agent site training, and this is going to be the advanced training session. We'll be covering how to customize your web page, both your navigation bar, diving into a lot of customization with your blog posts, and then also checking out some things that we can do to set up our open house smart rule routing. Pretty cool stuff coming in here. Let's go ahead and kick it off. So the first thing we're going to do is get to our agent site. Obviously, we're going to hop into Command, go to the Consumer tab, and then click into Edit My Website. And we're going to give this a moment to load, and this is going to bring us into our dashboard page. Once again, this is something that we covered during our intro version. But we're going to be going back over, giving a really quick overview of this. First off, we have our quick start section here at the top, and this is where you can create a new piece of content very quickly and easily. Below that, we have all of our listed pages. So this top section here is our default pages. These are the ones that are going to be automatically generated for you. And then we have the agent site pages at the bottom. Yours may or may not be there. You might have a few blog posts that are already generated from Keller Williams, but most likely this section is going to be completely empty for you. So we're here, let's fill it up. So what we want to do is go to the quick start section up top and hit blog post. Now we're going to look over a few things. This is going to be our editor. This is a very simple editor that we're going to see in many places all throughout the site, but let's go ahead and really get rolling and throwing some content into this. These tabs up here, we'll go into the styles tab a little bit later, but let's just stay in the main tab and let's throw our headline here. So surprise, surprise, I used to work in the coffee industry. Let's make some blog posts about coffee. Why not? Because, well, most people like coffee. Let's talk about it. So let's make this blog post about, let's see, we'll do coffee growing regions. That's going to be the big text that's going to pop up at the top of the screen there. I don't know, maybe get something creative, something catchy. That's actually not a really catchy one, but you know, put whatever you want there. And this sub headline is just going to be a little bit of text that goes underneath the big title here. All right, we'll throw some text in there. Of course, the moment I start typing and recording a session, all the typing goes down the drain, but that's okay. So we have our headline, we have our sub headline. We can see these over on the preview on that right side pretty clearly. And the next thing we come to is going to be our hero item. This is going to be the large image that is going to be on the top of the screen. And once again, this is also the image that is going to be featured on the blog post list. So make sure this is a good image, and if at all possible, we want to make sure that that image is high resolution. So we have a lot of image details, so when you blow it up, it's going to look fine in a larger format. So we clicked on that hero image selector, and then we selected image for the type that we wanted to upload. And then we're just going to click on this image button right here. And this by default is automatically going to search and display all of the images that have been uploaded to your site. So if you have one here that you like, awesome, go ahead and click on that and use it. Today, I'm actually going to upload one myself. So we'll hit that new image button at the bottom, and then we're going to go to a new upload and hit choose. And I'm just going to go for this image there. I think that's coffee related. It sure is. So you got some coffee cherries right there. The internal name, you could name this whatever you want, or leave it as it is. And that looks good to me, so we're going to go ahead and save that. And then hit the back button. Now after you've done that, we can see that photo popped up in the picker. So we're going to go ahead and select that. And it populates on the left side and populates on the right side. So that's what we need for the hero image. The alt text right here, the caption and the credit, those are things you really don't have to worry about. If you want to add something in there, go for it. If you don't know what it is or don't want to worry about it, you're totally fine. We can move on to the next section. So we're coming to the body of this all. This is where we want to really be able to be putting all of our content in here and sort of just displaying all of the, whatever you want your blog post to be. So I'm going to go ahead here and get just some sample text that I had here, just some miscellaneous coffee stuff. And what I'm going to do here to start, so if you go ahead and create your blog post information in a separate Word editor, Word or Google Docs or something, go ahead and do that. That's totally fine. Just know that you will have to do all of your formatting inside the Keller Williams site builder. So I just have my plain text here, nothing special, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste this right into this box here. Now, initially, you're going to look at this and be like, all right, cool, like there's some words on a page. Doesn't really attract anyone's attention. This section here in the middle, it doesn't look good. So how can we fix that? How can we make it attractive? How can we make it something that people will want to read? And a lot of this is going to come down to the formatting and how we really break down media, images, videos, etc. throughout the page. So I'm going to show you a few tools that we can use to take your really plain looking text and transform it into something that people want to read. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is, well, let's start at the beginning. Let's get this cupping guide. Let's make this an actual title. So we have a bunch of different text editing options here at the top. We have our basic bold, italicize, and underline. We have the justification, whether we want it to be left justified, center, or right justified. Those are really important ones. And then the next one is going to be the format field here. This is how we actually change the text into a heading text. So go ahead and select the H2, and that is actually going to turn that into a heading 2 text size there. So we can see that text is much bigger, very visible over there on that site. You're like, great, cool, we have some formatting. Let's keep digging into it. The next really important one, we have this upload right here. So if we want to upload an image directly in line, we can do that by that. That's just going to bring our image picker. Once again, we can select the image, etc., and go that way. But I'm going to show you a way that I really love to mix images in with text, and that is going to be using this table tool. So I'm going to go ahead and create just a new line directly underneath my cupping guide, and then I'm going to open up the table tool, and I'm going to do a 3x2 table. So now we can see it made some blank space here, but what this is going to do is actually pretty cool. We're going to do table 1. I'm just going to put some text in a few of these tables so we can sort of see how it's going to display on the right side. I guess this is, it's a cell, I suppose. Oops. Nah, that's fine. Table 2 and table 3, even though these are not tables, but that's all right. And so if we look over here, they're a little bit small, a little bit hard to see, but in our preview, we can see table 1, table 2, actually, here we go. We can blow up the preview right there. We can see table 1, table 2, table 3. And if you notice, there's a spacing. There's an empty space right underneath it here, empty space above 2, and empty space below 3. If you look back to our guide right here, we can see those same empty spaces there. So that allows us to create some spacing and play around with how we want our text to line up. You're like, cool, great, we can put spaces in our text, but how does that make things look good? Because that does not look good so far. So what we can do here is put some of that content that we already made and drop it into one of these tables. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, let's do the first 2 paragraphs here of this content. I'm going to cut it, Control X. And I'm going to go ahead and paste it in that first table. Now it's going to stretch the table out. That's A-OK. That's what we want it to do. And I'm also actually, just to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to delete one of the columns. So we're just going to delete that column, paste the text into that first one, and then click off of it. And we can see here, the formatting changed a little bit, but not too much. Like, Josh, come on, get to the point. All right. So now we have that text on the left side there. Let's go ahead and put an image inside the right cell of this table. So I'm going to go to this image, upload button, and drop into image, selecting the image. And let's go ahead and roll with, you know what? I'm going to upload another image here. Let's see, what do we have here? Let's go for this one here. Oh, I already had this one uploaded. Great. So we're going to go ahead and save this one. save again. Oh, I'm sorry, hit back, then select the image, and then save. I apologize. And we're going to wait for this preview to load up on our right side there. Let me refresh this real quick. All right, and so now we can see we have that image off to the right side. Not too much happening there, like, okay, we're getting a bit of formatting, but what the magic kind of happens when you start adding a bit more content to this. So we're gonna add now text on that right side, and then we're going to add an image on the left side. And we're gonna do the same thing, go into the image builder. Let's go ahead and select this one, other coffee cupping image, and we're gonna let that preview load up. And boom, now we have some additional inline images here that we can go with. Let's go ahead now, and I'm gonna add a row below. So I have these cool sort of like attention grabby, oops, that's not where I wanted that. Let me delete that row real quick. So one of the things here, when you're adding and deleting rows, you have to make sure you select the right position properly first. So this is that second row, and then I want to add a row below. All right, now we get that space there below, and I'm gonna go ahead and just copy the rest of this text, cut the rest of this text rather, and paste it right here. And boom, I mean, the formatting, you can kind of change it up, do what you want there, play around with it, but we can see how we can block out the text and make that sort of, you know, play along in line with images. And now if you were to look at this, it's definitely a lot more appealing. There's still some work we can do with some formatting to make it a little bit better, and I'll show you that right now. All right, so the last really cool thing we can do here is going to be all the way up at the top, so we can go ahead and ignore all that work we just did. We have our content, we have our images, we're looking pretty good. And now we're gonna go back to this styles button at the top. Now this has a few different formatting options for the entire page. I personally don't really care for the automatic template on this. I'm a really big fan of the article OOB. So I'm gonna go ahead and click that and watch what happens on the screen to the right. Boom, so we can see everything actually is now centered in that nice column. The image is now centered with everything else. We can see how the text just sort of flows down the page and mixes with those images really, really well. And the last thing that I love to do on this, and that's all we got for blogs here, is choosing the article lead style. I'm a huge fan of the full width lead style, and watch what this does. It sets that as a full banner across the top. And this looks amazing on mobile or smaller devices here, where we now have this big colorful banner that's very attention grabbing and it looks good. And then we have that cupping guide right underneath it here. So there's a lot of things we can play around with that. I have a few of these that actually have the title of the blog overlaid right on the image. I made that image outside of command. But then we have our blog posts here, and it's looking good. There's so many different things you can play around with this tool here. So really take your time, mess around with some options. If you find this editor on the left side is a little bit too small for you, you can actually click this eye icon right here in the top right, and that's gonna get rid of that preview there. So you just have a little bit more room to edit and play around with what you have here on the left side. When we are done, there's one really big important thing to do, and that's gonna be hit the publish button. So the publish button's right here at the top right, and this is actually going to make this blog post live. But let's say that, hey, you made this blog post, it's a Saturday morning, it's maybe not the best time to upload a blog post. You can actually schedule your blogs ahead of time. So say you go ahead and make this blog. I think Sunday evening is the best time for them to go live. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this Sunday the 8th. Honestly, probably 4 p.m. It's great. That way it sits for a minute. People load up their feeds and they pop in and maybe see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that and schedule it. So that means automatically Sunday at 4 p.m. this is going to go live and be released. This is a phenomenal way to time block out a few hours where you can build all the blog posts that you want for the month, for the quarter, for the year, whatever you want to do. You can make all of your blogs at one time. and then set the release schedule for once a month or bi-weekly or weekly, whatever you want that schedule to be. You set it up and you forget it exists. That way it looks like you're actively participating and contributing content to your web pages, but you don't have to sit there and sit down every week and build and build and build. You just let it go and do its own thing. All right, that's actually all I have for you guys on this blog post. Please mess around with it, take some time, play around with it, check your site previews, see how you like how things are looking there, and let me know how it goes. I definitely love to see some examples of your work, and we can sort of feature those and walk through some of the methods that maybe you discovered to sort of customize things, make them look exactly the way you want them. All right, thanks for listening. I hope you all have a stellar day, and I'll be talking to you soon.